Hello, this is Shelly, the Barely Budgeter, and today we are going to discuss the Las Vegas trip that I took with my son about a little over a month and a half ago. And I tallied up all the costs, and we will go over how much it cost, what my budget was, is there anything I would change, did I regret going? So let's get started with our inspirational quote. Difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. I guess that is an ironic one, talking about Las Vegas. Because it did not start out with being an easy trip to plan and to budget for and everything. Because from the start, things were changing, and changes add costs to the end. So, we will get started with the transportation for the trip. We flew there and back with Frontier, and I used miles. So for the trip there, it ended up being $22.40 plus the miles that I used. So we used miles. And then on the way back, it cost $399.96, so about $400. So that was reasonable, because flights aren't always cheap. And here's extra fees. And this came when I booked. I didn't have a sitting together. I didn't choose the seats because it cost more money. But when I went to check us in on the plane, it still cost more money. I don't understand that, but if I would have known then what I know now, I would have just paid for it ahead of time. So this was paid for about 6 months before actually going on the trip. So the extra fees is the $104, and that also included when we first went to the airport. We got there, I checked the bags on the computer, the kiosk, and got the bag tickets, and we were waiting in line to put the bags on the so they can get booked. So we were halfway through the line, and then there was 2 lines that had to merge into one for another airline. So when we did that, they kept on, one by one. We get up there, and they won't take my bags because they're like, well, it just closed. And we had been waiting over an hour to get these bags ready. So she yanked off the ticket that you put on the suitcase, and she's like, you have to take it through TSA and everything. So we had to drag 2 checked bags through the whole airport, and my son, he likes to just not pay attention to what I told him, but he brought the whole big body wash and shampoo and everything, so we had to have those tossed because they were not within regulation. They were with a check bag, but since we had to go through the whole airport, they had to be checked at the gate. And that was the other fee. We get to the gate, and then they charged us to check the bags when I already had got them checked. So it was rough start, to say the least. It was a 4-hour flight with no extra stops. I like that. So while we were there, I did pay for the monorail for both of us, and I paid for 5 days. That way it would last our whole trip. If there was ever a moment where we needed that kind of transportation, we had it. It was a better deal just getting the 5 days, and we used it quite a bit. And then Uber, we used Uber once. That was going from the airport to the first hotel. And I'm going to add with tip and everything, it was about $25. Then we did have Lyft rides. There was multiple rides, probably like 3 or 4, that added up to $60. And so, with the hotel stays, so transportation ended up being a total of $685.35 altogether. With the hotel stays, we have Link. That was the one night. With the airplane tickets, I was going to get in on Sunday afternoon, and then we would have pretty much most of Sunday in Las Vegas, and that would be our first day. The flight changed, and we wouldn't get in until Sunday night about 9:30. Well, that's a whole day in Las Vegas, to be honest. I did not like that. So I did change the flight to a day before and checked the hotels for the one of the cheaper rooms, or one that's by Harris, because that was the night. We have 2 nights in Harris. So we did 1 night in Link, 2 nights in Harris, and 3 nights at Excalibur. And Link was the most expensive one, and it was more expensive than the other 2 combined, which is sad. But more of a last minute and a Saturday night, it ended up being $426.31. And that also includes a late checkout for the next day, because we signed up for I signed us up for a foodie tour that started at 1 and ended around the same time. I didn't want us to have to rush to get bags, check in at the other hotel, and then get back to the start of the foodie tour, because that was quite expensive. It was $198, and it was the celebrity one. And I did post a little clip, a short video of the places we went and the little foodie tour. So I did post some shorts while I was in Las Vegas. There is a playlist if you want to go to view that, and I will link the playlist below. Also, when we got there, it was actually a room that had a cabana area attached to the pool area, which this pool area is for 21 and up. So my son was not even allowed to swim in that area. We basically spent more time, more money just to sleep one night, basically. I would do that differently. I probably would just book one hotel for the whole trip. And I feel like that would get you the best value. So we went to Harris for 2 nights, and that was a total of $184.48. So that wasn't bad. And these also include resort fees. So with Harris, on first day, we did go to the foodie tour, and we went to the Mentalist show. After we checked into Harris, we went and saw the Mentalist at Planet Hollywood. So that was a good show. I hadn't seen any Las Vegas shows before, so we did go to the Mentalist, and I do like the TV show, and he is the person it's kind of inspired from. So we did go to the Mentalist. That was one that I also, I had a few of these that I bought around the same time I bought the flight. So we would have some things that's already paid for to do. And that was $74.78. And then the next day we spent downtown Las Vegas. So we went to the zip line, which was Slotzilla, and we did a deal. It was we did the Superman pose, I think. Now that I think about it, no, we did the one where we were sitting. We did the one where we were kind of sitting, because I did the Superman pose before and I wanted to try something different. And I believe it was $25 a piece. It ended up being $60 total with any other fees added. $60, which isn't too bad, because that's usually the cost of one ticket for one ride. And while we were downtown, we also got things to eat. I'll actually separate this. Before the foodie tour, we did eat our first meal at the Westgate Buffet. We took the monorail there. The Westgate Buffet was $58.50 because I signed up for their rewards, and you get a little discount. So for both of us, with tax and everything, it was $58.50. That was a good buffet. I didn't really have any complaints. It filled my tummy, so when we were downtown, we did go to the container park, and I also have a clip of that. We got mob pie. And I got a picture of my son holding up the thing like he was arrested. Hopefully that never happens. It said mob pie, and that with tip and everything was $40. This pizza cake was, after the Minimalist, we went on the High Roller. We did go on the High Roller. That was $62 for the both of us. And of course, there's a couple clips that shorts that I posted for that. Afterward, we were a little hungry because we hadn't had anything since the food tour. And pizza cake, it ended up being $24.87. Not bad for pizza. I mean, I can easily spend that around where we live in Ohio. So then with the mob pie, right next door was Waffleado. And that was good too. We got some specials. So then we did take a lift back to Harris, to the hotel. And I decided that night that I did take some cash with me to spend at the casino. I actually didn't spend all the cash I took to use at the casino. I'm not a big gambler, and I don't really drink much. I don't think I drank any alcohol while I was there. So, I did have a Starbucks. That was kind of my, I had a lavender drink. The lavender got me. Trying something new. I'm not a coffee drinker either. It was some sort of tea with lavender in it. So we did that. The next day we also then we spent 3 nights at Excalibur. They were actually comped nights, so I basically spent the cost of the resort fees and taxes. So that came to $148.53. I've stayed at Excalibur in the past, so I didn't have any issues. Some people may have issues with the room's not that fancy and everything. You do get what you pay for. I didn't have an issue because I really wasn't staying in the room as long as it was bug free. I don't smoke. I don't have an issue with that. The bed was comfortable enough. So I didn't, since we weren't really staying in the room very much, the view wasn't the best. But I wasn't there for the view. I already seen it with High Roller, and yeah. So we went to the Bodies exhibit when that was at Planet Hollywood or Planet Hollywood. I believe it was around there. I may be mistaken exactly where. That was $99.10. That was, I did post a short about that. I did not take any pictures or videos of the fetal section of that. This also included the VR tour and $10 off a souvenir. So we did do souvenirs. There are a list. Everybody has different souvenirs and what they are looking for. I do like souvenirs. There's some things that were books. Actually, a couple of them that also included one of the books as well. The I Love Sugar, $34. I would not pay for candy again. I'm diabetic, but you know what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas, unless it's diabetes that came home with me. So with all the souvenirs, that was $274. So about $275 for a bunch of souvenirs and things. I know that was candy, but I put it in the souvenir because it wasn't really an activity and I didn't consider it actual food substance. So I put it in the souvenir category. Some of this is one of it was swimming trunks because my son wanted to go swimming, but he did not pack any swimming trunks. And some of it was some snacks here and there for the room as well. This Welcome to Las Vegas, that was snacks for on the plane home, and actually a meal while we were waiting on the plane. The souvenir supermarket, some of these I did find, I didn't go all out like I usually do. Several of them, we got like 6 shirts, some, like the Real Bodies, that was part of, I don't know if that was a book, I think that was a brain, a thing, actually. In the Saw escape room, we did get a souvenir there too. My son did. So, you know, I kind of feel like it was a trip for him and I, but also I splurged a little bit more than I probably would just to enjoy it a little more for my birthday. And why not, right? So, I will get to why not, I guess. So, the Saw escape room, we went after we checked into the Excalibur. While we went from Harrah's to Excalibur, we kind of took our bags to the bell desk and got them checked there because our room was not ready. And then we went by MGM Grand, and there is like a food court where they get Panda Express and Happy Lemon. And the Happy Lemon was $8 with tax and a tip. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. Sorry about that. $14.63 was what Panda Express was. So that kind of gave us a little lunch to tie us over. Or maybe it was more breakfast because we kind of slept then. So then we got a lift to the Saw escape room. That was very interesting because it wasn't just one escape room. With it being Saw, it had multiple different sections like you see in the movies. But we so would have died. So hopefully I'm never in that situation. That was $81.98. It was really fun. There was a couple strangers in there with us, trying to work with us. And I guess technically at the end, they're like, well, you aren't the ones that died, just the guy in the bathtub. So, alright. And then after that, it was a bummer. It was quite the bummer because Super Carts was about 40 minutes. We had 40 minutes to get to the Super Carts, which is clear at the south of the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. And I checked on Lyfts, and it would take 45 minutes to an hour for us to get a ride for the cheapest rides. And the cheapest rides were like $50, $60. Which was a bummer because even if we did that and got there, we couldn't guarantee that we would be able to participate if we were late. So, sad to say, we did not do the Super Carts. I just felt like it's like I put money in a slot machine, I gambled it, and yeah, it was $71.98 that I had already paid for 6 months ago. So it's been paid for, it was spent already, it was gone. It was sad. I'd rather lose just what I've already paid for than the extra $60 and then another lift back to the hotel if we weren't able to do it. So it pretty much evened out, I guess. So instead of doing that, we were close to the Strat, and I didn't know this until after we got back and I was looking at some videos. That area, we should have not really been walking around, because I guess it's not the best neighborhood or area. Granted, it was in the middle of the day, so I'm a little, it was pretty bare, so I didn't really see any activity. We went to this food court, and it was very different from all the ones I've ever been to. It had a kiosk of several different places that they had. When you walk in, it was just like a little seating area. So I think it's used mostly for takeout and, you know, DoorDash type orders. But we ended up ordering from there, from a couple of the different places, because we wanted to try it. We were going to get these burgers and everything, and then my son realized it's not really meat, and he's a meat person, so not gonna fool him with plants, I guess. So we spent $46.68 because we kind of got bigger drinks for our walk. We ended up walking to the Strat, and on the way there I got tickets so we can see the observation deck. That was another short video that I posted, and we enjoyed. We made the most of our situation. We walked there, then we walked across to the Sahara to hop on the monorail all the way back. And by the time we got back, it was later, and we stopped to get a snack. I got some pretzels, and then we found out there was a drink, a refillable cup, this, which I use for work now, where we paid for the souvenir cup and we could actually get free refills. And we didn't know this until like the third day in, almost the fourth day in. So, anyway, we paid with the souvenir cup and my little snacky self. It was $29.19. And I would tell you, I pretty much use it every single day. So I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. And it's a pretty nice size, and it has the good handle. I guess that's what some people like about the Stanleys, because it has the good grip. Then one of the last days, we wanted to stay closer to Excalibur, and so we ended up eating at Excalibur Buffet for the morning, which that was $71.51. After that, we walked and we went to the Pinball Hall of Fame. Another short video that I posted, and I feel like my son liked that. We each spent like $10. We were there for a couple hours. They had the pinball machines, most of them 50 cents each. We did our own little dance-off thing. I can say I do not do well under pressure with dancing, which is okay. That's why I plan on maybe having a choreographed first dance for my wedding. Show me the moves. I didn't have to learn them on the spot. So we ended up spending like $20 there, which was nice. It was a nice time seeing all those fun games. Some people aren't into that, but you know, the casino is kind of like the pinball, the game room for the adults. So, and my son is 15, so he's in that era where he likes playing with those games. Let's see. On the way back, we stopped by Sayulitas, which is pretty close, and that was a very nice little stop. $17.94. I forgot to mention the Bacchanal Buffet. We went to the Bacchanal Buffet after the Bodies exhibit. Yeah, that's when we went. We went to the Bacchanal Buffet. We had to wait. That's actually cheaper than the foodie tour, I guess I could say. It ended up being, with tax and everything, $188.55 for the both of us. The thing is it did not have a reservation. I wasn't sure when to make it, so I didn't want to feel rushed. And by the time I went to make the reservation, they weren't accepting any more reservations. So we just had to wait in line and wait until it was our turn. And we managed to get there in time to have the 90-minute allotted minutes to have all you can eat, whatever. He goes for the more expensive meats and everything anyway, and I like the variety and the trying new things in a smaller size, because they do have like the individual little plated foods, which is I find very nice. I didn't feel like if I didn't like it, I wasn't wasting much of anything. So I don't like to be wasteful. I like to get my money's worth, which I feel like I did. Some people don't feel like an $80, $90 buffet could be worth it. This Hudson, I guess this was at the airport for the snacks for the airport. This was souvenirs at the airport. So, and then before we went to the airport, our last meal in Las Vegas was the Tournament of Kings. And I gotta tell you, I like that show. It's a dinner and a show. That was a pretty penny, which I forgot I had the My Vegas rewards. I could have did the buy one get one half off, or buy one get one free, whatever it was, and it would have been cheaper. After we did that, to help pass the time a little bit, we did play in the arcade there. We actually spent less time and spent more money there than the pinball, and we probably had less fun, to be honest. It is what it is. It was the experience. And let's see what we got here. The food altogether was $558.74. And considering I added the foodie tour was on here, I think. No, the foodie tour was activity. The Bacchanal buffet, and like, we went to, I feel like we got 5 days worth, for 5 days worth in Las Vegas. Not a bad combo. This was extra. I know it did fill us up. And then this had food as well. So, I mean, there is some food over here, but I feel like I was paying more for the experience, the show that went with the food, and this was like, it was celebrity, so you learn like different things about the specific celebrities and their signature dish. Something that we probably wouldn't be able to go all those places for that amount of money. Just the two of us, if we went and got those dishes, because it was kind of smaller portions. So, how do you feel I did in Las Vegas? Have you been there? Is the hotel, the link, I mean, I couldn't even enjoy it. I was basically there. We didn't get there until like 10:30 at night. So we basically slept And then we got up and went to the morning buffet. And we were on the go since then. So we really didn't, the only time we really spent in the room was to sleep. And the activities, that's what I went for anyway, is the experiences, and that was all together. Let's see. We have $685.35 plus $759.32 and $904.40 plus 55.74 plus 274. Okay. It comes to a total of $3,182.49, and that does not really include the cash I took. I gave us relatively around $300, considering we did have I had like $900 already paid for before we went. So it did, I feel like having a third of it saved. And I was able to just enjoy and have fun. So around $3,000, we did have it around that budget. I did work a little more overtime so I can enjoy my birthday a little bit more. We did have some time at the pool. I made a little video for you. You can actually see my face. So overall, it's some areas I would redo the hotel stays, because I bet if I would have just stayed at the Excalibur the whole time or just added an extra day to Harrah's, it wouldn't be an extra $400 and some dollars for the one night with Harrah's. I am sure of it. Maybe $250, but that's still $150 that, I mean, it could bring it down closer to the $3,000 mark. Same with the fee. Like I said, I would just pay for the seat, and the second the trip back, we actually were not sitting beside each other. We were kind of catty corner, which I was still able to have eyesight, and I'm just glad it wasn't the first flight on the way there. He was sitting by someone more his age anyway, not his mom. And I actually didn't have anybody next to me because I feel like the person that sat by the window bought both seats, so they didn't have to sit by anybody. Because I feel like their husband was in the seat in front of them, and that middle seat was empty as well. So I guess if you have that ability to pay for 2 seats on a plane, I guess that's very doable. Overall, I would not regret, I do not regret going on this trip. Especially, I feel like we spent quality time together. Some people are like, $3,000 on a trip. You know, that's chump change for some people, though. Some people, that's only like a 2-day trip. We spent 5 days in Vegas. So I'm not upset about that number at all. Yeah, it puts me behind, like, $3,000 could have been put toward paying off the debt and everything like that. But as I grow older and having family members pass away, and they worked their whole life, and they did not get to enjoy retirement and having those moments. I remember growing up, and we went on trips like almost every summer, and I remember that my kids, our first big vacation like out of state was last year, and it was the first time that they seen the ocean. So I want to have more moments like that with them, and I don't feel like I'm just working my life away for retirement and missing out on spending time with my children. My parents died in their 40s. I wasn't even in kindergarten yet. So they didn't really see us grow up. So while I'm edging closer to my 40s, I feel like I need to spend time with what matters to me. And it's not the money. It's having the experiences and getting those memories with my family. So, Las Vegas, did you think it was worth it? Give me some comments down below. Like, share, and hit the notification bell if you would like to get more videos. So until next time, I bid you adieu. Bye.